Hello folks, today I'm going to be taking a look at some base toppers and laser cut plants from Gamer's Grass. Alright, so I'm here with a selection of the Gamer Grass laser cut plants. If I start off with the deer and the alien fern, you can see they use the same die cut for different plants, but then it's just the colour on them that changes. So a variety of bits and pieces like that, from the more outlandish with the alien rosette to the more earthly with things like red aloe and even a plantain lily. So what do you get with one of these? Well, if I crack open the lily, you'll see. It's a single sheet, double-sided. The back of it shows some assembled, which hopefully gives you then a good idea of what way you're putting them together. The sheet itself is a very thin, it's either a very thin plastic or laminated card. So there's a certain amount of protection, rigidity, and I suppose waterproofing as well. So if you're sealing your bases, you're not going to have to worry about destroying the paper, the print work on it. When you come to assemble it, what you're supposed to do is pop it from the sprue. Now, for some of the larger leaves, it's relatively simple. Boop. You just pluck it out like that. But I have seen with the ferns, because they have a lot of indentations. In fact, let me just grab one here. Sometimes you get very small, I suppose, like a sprue gate, the connection between the paper, and it can be on very delicate tips of these. So you may find, rather than plucking them from the page, you might want to use just the tip of a very sharp knife just to cut those away. But for the larger leaves, you don't have to worry about it too much. As you can see, for all of the leaf patterns, there are a variety of sizes and, I suppose, numbers of leaves. Big panels of 5 down to 4s, 3s and 2s. And this is so that you can build it up like that picture, sort of nested layer within layer to get the overall look. Now it does say that you can mould these with either the back of a paintbrush or a pair of pliers or tweezers, and that they are supposed to stay in shape. I will say I have had issues with them staying in shape. Either they fold back flat again, or sometimes they kink, so you don't get a nice curve, you get a very jagged angle. That may just be how I'm manipulating them, but you get in, you sort of twist and position the leaves and then glue them down, and then just take your neck set and do it in the center, and so on and so forth. I've done a couple just so you can see. So here we have a very large bracken fern, and you can see here what I mean about the very fine leaves and the gaps between them. You can also probably see there how my fern is at an obtuse angle rather than a nice gentle curve. So trying to get a curve into the leaves going down and a curve into the frond going up was problematic. It worked slightly better on that, but it's much flatter than I want it to be. And also because you're gluing to a very small point and then trying to essentially bring it up to fall down again. Your glue points are relatively small, so I suggest using super glue. Here we can see one of the alien world plants, and you can see the nesting between them. Again, I had an issue. You can see there. There's a very sharp line across the middle from the light, and that's because, again, rather than getting a nice curve to it, when I attempted to bend it, I got a sharp crease instead, which is a little bit disappointing, but I don't think overall it ruins the look. It just may not be as easy out of the box as you might expect. However, overall the look is very good. Whenever I seen them initially, I was a little bit worried about the edging because they are printed, like I say, on some sort of laminated paper. And you can see there, the edge of those plants is white, which they'll all be because obviously the print is on the top layer and then it punches through. It's more noticeable on this than it is on the fern and on our lily, because the lily has white tips on the edge, so you don't really notice it. On the larger leaves, it's slightly more noticeable, but because you're mostly going to be looking at things from either top down or slight angle as you play, your sort of coverage may vary on that one, depending on how many plants you put on, or if you're using them on basing or terrain. If it's something very poppy like this Alien World one, you might want to just go in with an ink or a paint and just go around the edge of it, just to mask that if it's too stark a contrast for you. But overall, it's a very interesting little product, and there's a lot of different styles and types, whether you're doing fantasy, sci-fi, or real world. There's a lot of various vegetation you can use, and then obviously combine it with things like the basing tufts and flowers that gamer grass also sell. So there you go. Really good way of adding some interesting colour to your bases, and dioramas and terrain for that matter as well. Also, I like the fact that it's split between the real and the science fiction or fantasy, so you can double down on your planetary expedition with a pop of colour. Really nice models, nice kits, not even sure what you would call them. Nice paper craft, how about that? I do still have maybe I'm not getting the best out of the bending, I think. I'm still getting a lot of spring back, but you know, something to experiment with. If you've used them before and you've any tips, feel free to drop them below, but otherwise let me know what you think of these alien laser cut plants and whether you'll be using them yourself. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.